Good day, everyone, and welcome back to Stationeers. Alright, so today we're going to be expanding the power system here. And just as a heads up, I'm having to use a different keyboard. My keyboard that I usually use is having some issues. I'm not sure what exactly is causing it, but I switched to a different keyboard. And this one can be a little bit noisier, so I apologize if that bothers you. Yeah, sorry, nothing I can do about that right now. Anyways, we're going to be doing a little bit of expansion here. I'm just going to place some frames down while I talk about. Specifically, last time we made it where we can get some water here by crushing some ice using the ice crusher, but this thing uses a lot of power. We do not, this just puts a massive drain on our power system. So we need to upgrade the grid, all right? Our electric grid here is not sufficient. We're just not able to generate enough power. Now, I already went out and did a little bit of mining. I still have some more stuff that needs to be smelted. Actually, I'll smelt this copper here because we're going to be going through a lot of copper today. I'll just get that going. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be making free solar panels, but not these basic solar panels we've been using. No, we're going to make a different solar panel. So let's go ahead and type solar here. And as you can see, there's two free solar panels if you count the portable solar panel. But we're not going to be making the kit basic. We're going to be using the kit solar panel here. Each one takes 5 gold, 20 copper, and 15 steel. I have to add the steel in here from the autolave. Sorry. Let me just get that transferred over here. Oh, to have so many materials to where you never have to do this. Wouldn't that be nice? Alright. Come on. There we go. Alright, so let's type solar here. And we're going to make 3 of these solar panels here. And they're going to take a little while. So while they're taking a little while, we can talk about exactly what's going to be happening here in this. First of all, this is probably going to be a 2-part series because this is going to take a little bit of time here. But these solar panels aren't very efficient. They just lay flat here. You know, if the sun is on the horizon there, or say right there, they're not capturing much of the sun there. You know, these need to be able to track the sun as they make their way across the sky. Now, we're not going to be removing these anytime soon. We're going to keep them because, you know, they're better than nothing. And right now, we really only have the resources to make free solar panels. And we probably won't need more than 3 plus those 2 there. These will at least allow us to, you know, generate more power during, you know, throughout the day there. Specifically, you know, when the sun is at its, you know, peak there. So we're going to just make 3 of these. As I said, they take a little while. Now, one thing I should warn you, if you decide to go solar panel crazy here, we're going to have to talk about cables later on. But I'm going to warn you right now. These cables have a limit to how much power they can transmit, okay? If you exceed that amount of power, one of them will fry. And basically, a fried cable, I'm not going to actually fry a cable just to show you here. I'm sure we'll eventually fry a cable in the series. So I won't have to purposely do it here just as a demonstration. But a fried cable is basically the equivalent of me cutting, you know, let's say this cable here fried. As you can see, we'd no longer be connected to our solar panels. And if this happened here, we'd no longer be connected to our battery, you know, if it decided to fry the cable here, which means we'd lose all the progress with the printer there. So each solar panel can generate up to 500 watts. So the free solar panels we're going to be putting in, that's going to be 1,500 watts of power there that these 3 are going to be generating. Likewise, these 2 here can produce, these 2 here are going to produce up to 500 watts as well, but they're only going to hit that during the day. So if in total we have the potential to generate up to 2,500 watts of power with the free solar panels and the 2 basic solar panels. So theoretically, you can place up to 10 solar panels before you have to upgrade this this cable, I should say, to heavy cable. Once you add an 11th solar panel there, you will be able to exceed the 5,000 watt rating of these cables here, and you could have them fry. There's also something known as a fuse that you can put on the cable so that you can control where, if you overload the cable where the fuse will blow. And that's quite useful. I recommend using fuses, but we're not going to be coming close to that yet. So let's go ahead and get that iron smelting there. All right, so let's go up. Oh, hang on a second. I need to get some glass sheets. And while I'm at it, I'm going to grab a couple other items here. Don't worry too much about what all I'm grabbing for now, but we're going to grab another APC, area power controller. And we're going to grab this kit sensors here that came with the moon lander there. And we'll talk more about these items when we get to them. But for now, let's go up here and let's place our solar panels down. Oh, hang on. We first got to weld this up here. Okay, there we go. We're also going to be expanding the build area down there. I've got the iron frames in, but for now, that will be in the next video that we do use that space. Okay, so the solar panel comes in two forms. There's the solar panel and solar panel dual. As the best way to showcase the dual is that we have a data connection here and a power connection here. All right, so the data and the power are separate on the dual, whereas with the solar panel, we only have a data and power connection all in one. For this, we're going to want to do the dual, and I'm going to have the power output on the western side of the structure here, okay? We're just going to place these down here. Data on the data to the east, power to the west, all right? Which means we're going to have to change the way our power cable runs. We're going to want the power cable to run on the western side, and we're going to have our data run on the eastern. So eventually we're going to swap these solar panels from being in this position to over there. But for now, we're not going to worry too much about that. So these solar panels are adjustable. There's a couple ways we can adjust them. First of all, we can tilt them down or up. All right, we can take, this is their vertical angle. All right, they start off at 90 degrees. We can also change the horizontal angle. Oop, that was a misclick there with my fingers. For now, we're going to want to set these to 270 degrees, all right, because the power port is to the west, 270 degrees, we'll have them facing the east, and we're going to tilt the angle down to 15. These go from 15 degree angle to 165 degree for the vertical angle here. So we're going to set the vertical angle to 15 and the horizontal to 270 on all of these. Now, you don't, here on the moon, it's a pretty simple way, it's pretty simple to set up your solar panels, all right? The tracking is very simple. If you're on Mars, it's a bit more complicated because the sun's arc in the sky is very different to what it is on the moon, all right? You actually have to adjust the horizontal angle and the vertical angle throughout the day. So we're just going to be making a very basic, very simple solar tracking system that works on the moon. On Mars, we have to use one that's a little bit more complicated, but we can get by with the simple here. Now, the main reason we want to, so basically, always have it where at 15 degrees, they're facing the east there, and you will never have to adjust the horizontal angle again on these. So just adjust them once. All right, so it takes one glass sheet for each solar panel to finish the construction, and now the solar panels are done. We have them facing east at 15 degree vertical angle, and we just got to hook up a bunch of cable. So let's go down and let's start making a lot of cable. The good news is there is a way, I've actually improved the efficiency, let me type it out here, of this setup prior to this video. In fact, that's partly why this isn't the first time I'm recording this video, because I realized there's a much more efficient way to do what we're going to be doing here. Much more efficient. So while it generates a bunch of cables, we're going to actually deconstruct this small generator here, and the small generator is ultimately going to move over here so that we can hook it up to the solar panels as well, so we have one power input. For now, I'm just going to set that aside. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get one of these small batteries. I'm going to set it aside. In fact, we're going to just disconnect this for now. It's probably going to get moved against at some point, but we're going to disconnect that, and let's go collect our cables here, because they're kind of just starting to go all over the place, spaghetti nonsense. All right. There's this actually will keep the beacon there for now. Eventually we're going to have to move it to get into some places. We can also salvage this cable here. We're not going to be needing this here anymore. This is going to change as well quite a bit. For now, we're just going to place this cable like so. We're actually going to end up running a cable up here, but that's going to come in the next video. So for now, we're not going to worry about the input for the solar panel, or the output of the solar panels and the input to our power system here. That's going to mostly, because we're going to end up doing something else. I'll give you a hint. We're going to be generating more power than we're using most of the time, so we don't want to waste it. So if you know what I'm thinking of doing, let me know in the comments below if you think you know what we're going to be doing in the next video. While you're at it, consider hitting the like button, subscribing if you haven't already done so. It would mean a lot to me and would really help the channel out there as it grows. Alright, with the shameless self-promotion out of the way, we're just going to hook up our power cables here. And while we're not going to shift these solar panels over right away, because right now we need them to generate, some electricity for us, so that we can continue to, power everything here, I will place the connections down here so that we can move it when we need to. Alright, now this is the fun part here. Actually, while I'm up here, I'm going to take the angle grinder here, and I'm just going to trim that top one off, because we're going to need it for something here. I recommend you have an extra section of ladder just to make life a little bit easier for something that we're going to do. And we need to set this straight. We're going to go work our way up the ladder here, connecting this cable here, bringing it down. And I can't quite remember exactly how we are going to want to terminate the cable down here, so we're just going to leave it just like that. We're going to have to hook up the generator to it, and it's going to come off here. Alright, so that's the power output done. We still have to take care of the data connection here, so let's go back up. Let's turn off our flashlights. And so we're just going to extend this down here, and this is also now going to serve as our data connection to the solar panels. And one more there. Alright, yeah, we have enough cables so far. We might have to make some more here in a moment. Okay, so now the solar panels are hooked up for both power and data. We don't need to be up here anymore, though we will once again have to come up here and flip these over. Yeah, I have to remember to do that. Alright, so let's store our cables. We're definitely going to need more, so I might as well just tell it, start making those cables. But before we do that, let's get some of the things we're going to need here. We're going to need 2 logic I/O. Alright, kit logic I/O. And they each take 1 gold and 1 copper. Alright, so we're just going to start those. And the kit logic I/O is going to allow us to read and write data to devices. Alright, I/O is for input output. Alright, so it constructs them pretty quickly here. And once it's done doing that, I'm going to tell it to start making some more cable. Alright, there we go. We don't need another one, so let's go to cable here. Oh, I accidentally turned on my caps lock. Not used to using this keyboard. It's been a while. Alright, so we'll just have it start printing some cable. As a temporary measure, we're going to take our iron frames and we're going to place 2 down like so. This is going to be basically a scaffolding for us to work with. We're going to take our iron sheets and our torch and just, get to this first stage of construction. Yes, let's use a high-temperature welding torch right next to an oxygen tank. That makes so much sense and is perfectly safe. To be fair, I think, we'd be fine, but it's still not advisable in real life. Where did that ladder section? There it is. So we're going to take that ladder section, we're going to put it up here. So this is our scaffolding to get up there. Hopefully we have enough cable. It would really stink if we didn't. And we're going to transfer these sheets back. Okay, so we're going to take our area power controller here, and we're going to place it up here like so. And we want it where the power is going to come from the left to the right there. Alright, that's perfectly placed. We're going to take our cable here, Hang on, I'm going to drop those. I need my wire cutters there. And we're going to just... Sure, we'll put a 4-way in here. This is going to be replaced. This is just going to be a straight piece in here eventually. For now, this is fine. We need the power coming from those for now. We're now going to take our logic kit here, our logic I/O, and we're going to want to use the first one, which is a logic reader. The logic reader takes data in from the left, it outputs data to the right, and it takes power from the top. And we're just going to go one space away from the APC and place it there. We're going to go one space away from the logic reader, and we're going to put down what's known as a batch writer. So where is it? Batch writer. All right, so free of 9. And once again, we have an input on the left, an output on the right, and power at the top. Next, we're going to take our cables. We're going to... this is actually going to be a 4-way, like so. We're going to take a... its left turn there. We're going to put in a freeway junction there. And we're going to put in another turn there. We're going to put it straight there between them. So we're just connecting the power sections there with that. And this data section. Between the two, between the logic reader and the batch writer, we're going to put a straight section there. And then here we're going to take a bend, and we're just going to take it up to the top there to where our data connection is. And we're going to connect it up there to that. Alright, so there's a reason why this is done the way it is. First of all, this is the most optimal use of our cable for placing this. But also, this ensures that the power, the data connection here, which currently has power going to it, we don't want to have this section here connected up to the APC. We don't want to form, basically, I can do it now, but we don't want to have it where it connects up to itself like this, because basically it's just going to send power in a circle there, and that's not good. All right, so we do not want to do that. All right, so that is why we have set it up the way we have here. This is perfectly safe. We aren't going to short circuit anything and blow a wire in the process, all right? So, with that done, there's one more thing we got to attach, and we got to take our kit sensors here, and we want to use a daylight sensor. There's other sensors in here, such as the motion sensor, the gas sensor, the occupancy sensor, and the proximity sensor. We're not going to talk about the proximity sensor and the occupancy sensor so much, but we will talk about the gas sensor later, and maybe the motion sensor, but probably not. We're mostly going to be using daylight, but for this we're going to be using the daylight sensor. The gas sensor comes into play a lot more later on, especially with airlocks. Alright, so the daylight sensor, it measures a couple of things. Primarily, it measures the vertical angle and the horizontal angle of the sun. Now, we want it on this eastern wall here. We need this to face the east there for this setup to work. Alright? Because the way this works is that when the sun is on the horizon there, that is 0 degrees on the daylight sensor. When the sun is at kind of like midday all the way up there, shining directly down on us, it's at its peak in the sky, its zenith, that right there would be 90 degrees on the daylight sensor. And when the sun is setting there, it's on the western horizon, that right there would be 180 degrees relative to this daylight sensor, okay? Interestingly, that corresponds very well with our solar panels. When it's at 0 degrees, the solar panels there are going to be all the way, way down there at that 15-degree angle. So they're going to be tracking the sun there as it goes. When the solar panels are at vertical 90, the sun is at vertical 90. And likewise, at 165, when the sun's at 165, the solar panels will be at 165. Now, so this allows us to accurately track the sun across the sky there within the limits of the solar panels themselves. But there's one thing we have to do here for all this to work. All right, this is the other brilliant thing about setting this up the way we did here. If you recall when I first talked about the APC serves three functions. One of those functions is to actually create networks, all right? So what we see here is that the APC is able to separate all the devices here, their data connections on this side, from everything else over here. And this is where this comes in handy. Right now, this is pretty straightforward. We are going to take an input here from the daylight sensor on the logic reader. So the logic reader wants to read it's the logic reader's input. All right, what it's reading is the daylight sensor. And the variable we want it to read is the vertical angle. When we come over here to the batch writer, it's going to take an input, and that's going to be the logic reader. It's only going to see the logic reader because this is the only thing that's connected on the data connection there. So no matter how much I click, it's only going to see the logic reader. Whereas over here, if I click again, once again, it's not going to see anything because there's no other devices that have a data connection connected to it. All right. So it makes it very easy to set this up. And the variable we want, so the output type, we want that to be solar panel dual. If you notice, I can actually select the batch writer itself in the area power controller here, as well as the solar panel flats. All right, that's because all these things are on the same network, so they're visible to as an output type. We want the solar panel dual. And the output variable, you guess it, is going to be the vertical angle. So, the joys of ladders. If I come down here and I take a battery, and I go back up here, again, why we built the scaffolding and the ladder, I'm going to open up the APC here. I'm going to take the battery and I'm going to put it into the APC, and I'm going to turn on the APC. And look, nothing has happened. Remember to turn on the logic reader. Oh, I somehow messed up this. I messed this up somehow. It's flashing a warning there for some reason. What's going on? Oh, I never set this to vertical angle. Right. There we go. All right, so the variable is the vertical. So if you look here, it says that its vertical angle is 179, which, what do you know? That's the same thing as the daylight sensor there. And if we go over to the batch writer, when I turn this on, the solar panels are going to start to turn the vertical angle to 176. Of course, it's not going to hit 176 because it can only go up to 165. So over time, these solar panels are going to make their way back over to facing the east there. And then when the sun rises, it's going to follow the sun as it makes its way across the sky there. And, you know, it's going to try and maintain maximum efficiency. But we'll take a look at that in the next video. For now, this is all you need to set up to track the sun. Next, we're going to be working on the output here. There's some things we have to do to take advantage of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disassemble this scaffolding, and then I'm going to get everything ready for the next video. Have a great day, everyone.